There's this classic quirk in the English language that trips up pretty much everyone at some point. I'm talking about words that sound exactly the same, but mean totally different things. So let's dive in and break down what's really going on with these tricky words. Just take a look at this sentence. I see the sea. Now, if you just hear that out loud, it makes perfect sense, right? But when you go to write it down, you suddenly have to deal with two completely different words, see and see. They sound identical, but their meanings and spellings, worlds apart. Welcome to the wild, wonderful world of homophones. All right, so to really get a grip on this, let's start with the basics. We need a solid foundation. So what exactly is a homophone? Okay, here's the official definition. A homophone has the exact same sound as another word, but, and this is key, a different meaning and a different spelling. You gotta have all three of those pieces for it to count. Same sound, different meaning, different spelling. And what's really cool is that the word itself gives you a huge clue. Homophone actually comes from Greek roots. Homo means same, and phone means sound. So the word literally just means same sound. How cool is that? It's a great little trick to remember what it means. All right, enough with the definitions. Theory is one thing, but the best way to really get this stuff is to see it in action. So let's check out a whole gallery of common examples. Let's kick things off with sun and sun. Pronounce them? Yep, they're identical. But sun is that giant star in the sky, while son is a male child. The entire meaning just hinges on that one little vowel change in the spelling. Crazy, right? Oh, now this is a pair that gets writers all the time, right and right. You might be talking about being correct, R-I-G-H-T, or you might be talking about the act of putting words down on a page, W-R-I-T-E. The sound is exactly the same, which means if you're just listening, context is literally your only clue to figure out which one it is. And this brings us right back to where we started. See, S-E-A, the big blue ocean, and see, S-E-E, what you do with your eyes. This is just a perfect illustration of how spelling is the only thing that separates two completely different ideas when you're writing them down. Here's another classic mix-up. We've got two, T-W-O, the number, and then there's two, T-O-O, which means also or in addition. They sound exactly the same, but using the wrong one in a text message or an email can totally change your meaning, or at the very least, just look like a typo. Let's do one more, just for good measure. Pale and pale. P-A-L-E describes something that's light in color, but P-A-I-L is, well, it's a bucket. Again, same sound, completely unrelated meanings. I mean, you definitely wouldn't want to tell someone their face is the color of a bucket, would you? Spelling is everything. Okay, so just to make sure we're all crystal clear on this, it's really important to tell homophones apart from their close cousin in the word family, homonyms. This is a common point of confusion, so let's clear it up right now. So here it is, the crucial difference. Homophones, as we know, have the same sound, but different spellings, like right and right. Homonyms, on the other hand, have the same sound and the same spelling. They just have different meanings. Think about the word fine. It can mean you feel okay, like I'm fine, or it can be money you have to pay, like a parking fine. Same word, same spelling, two totally different jobs. Okay, so we've defined it, we've seen a bunch of examples, we've even compared it to other things. But let's bring it all home and talk about why any of this actually matters in the real world. So what's the bottom line here? First off, remember that when you're listening, the sound alone isn't enough to tell you the meaning. You have to look for other clues. Which brings us to point 2. Context is your absolute best friend for figuring out which words someone is using. And finally, when you're the one doing the writing, spelling is everything. Getting that spelling right is what makes sure your message gets across clearly. And that's our deep dive into homophones. It leaves me with a question for you. Which pair of homophones gets you the most? Is it there, or there? Your or your? Give it some thought. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer.